أهل العنود، الدكتورة فيرونيكا راح تدخل معنا الآن، والدكتورة رشا اوريدي موجودة، بس ننتظر دكتور حسن إن شاء الله.
شكرا لك معاذ.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How
How
are
are you,
you?
Dr. Veronica?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
I'm good,
Dr.
thank
Veronica.
you. How are you, Anud?
Very good. How are you both, Dr. Veronica and Dr. Rasha? Is Dr. Hafsa with us too?
We are fine. Thank you.
How are you doing today?
It's good. Little bit cold here in Slovakia, but I'm
Really?
surviving.
I think actually there's a snowstorm coming like around the world.
Yeah, we have already the snowstorm from yesterday. It was like 25 centimeters today.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Mu'adh, are you ready to start?
We will give just a few minutes for people to join in, especially after the prayer. We will start, inshallah, in 3 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Hello, Dr. Hafsa. Alaikum assalam wa rahma. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, fine. Am I audible? Am I visible?
Yes. You are visible and audible, and you look great.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Actually, we just had the Maghrib prayers here, and I didn't get a chance to pray because I had to log in. So how many minutes are we waiting?
I think about 5 minutes, so you can go ahead and pray.
Oh, okay, lovely. Thank you so much.
Go ahead. وصل سؤال من ملاك في صوت. نعم حبيبتي، الآن فقط 5 دقائق، بإذن الله نبدأ.
Okay, so we're about to begin right now. Dr. Hafsan, Dr. Rasha, and Dr. Veronica, are you guys with us right now? Just to double check.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so hello everyone, this is Muad and Jefan, and I'm representing Salam for Cultural Communication. Today, it's a special day that we're celebrating women contribution in science, and an International Day for Girl, Women in Science, and how important that day is for a lot of girls and women around the world. And we want to tackle the idea of how we can relate that to cultural communication. So I would like to thank you guys for joining us in this event. And Salam is all about how we can bring people together and how we can connect a lot of people from different culture and different background together in those kind of platforms. So Salam Stories, mainly it's a platform for people to gather and talk and share their experiences in a different aspect and a different subject. Without further ado, I will give the floor to my colleague Al-Anud Al-Faysan, and she will be our host tonight. And she was one of our greatest graduates from Salam Youth Leadership Program. The floor is yours, Al-Anud.
Thank you very much, Muad. First of all, good evening to everyone, and the deepest of congratulations and celebrations on the International Women's Day on the contribution in the science field. I am a proud alumna of Salam of Cultural Communication Youth Leadership Program. Salam aims to promote mutual understanding of various aspects, to promote mutual understanding of cultures, communications, and also to facilitate cultural dialogues and experiences between the Saudi youth and the world. So I am very excited to be moderating this session today, and I am extremely honored to be in this presence of these great 3 panelists. I am immensely privileged to be moderating this virtual talk with 3 very special ladies who are contributing to the values in the science field globally. But before we get to that piece of cake, I would like to ask everyone to please go ahead if you feel comfortable and open up your video cameras. Let us have a dialogue, let us see each other, and let us see the diverse audience that we've got with us today. So I will give you 10 seconds to open up your video cameras. Go ahead and don't be shy. That's great. I'm starting to see faces. Very lovely. So, I am beginning to be more and more greedy to see more faces, but I'll be patient. So we will begin with welcoming Dr. Hafsa Rahil, Dr. Veronica Sasilkova, and Dr. Rasha Domi, all of which hold great experience and contribution to the science field and do stand as pillars of light for aspiring female scientists around the world. So diving deeper into our unique panelists for the day, Dr. Hafsa is a board certified in preventative medicine and public health. She currently is heading the Saudi residency training program of the preventative medicine in KSUMC. She is also the member of the epidemiology research chair in King Saud University. Dr. Hafsa, we are very happy and very privileged to have you with us today. We also have with us Dr. Rasha Domi, who is a MBBS graduate from the College of the Health Sciences in the University of Kordofan, Sudan. She also holds a Master of Public Health from the University of Malaya and a clinical medical doctorate in the community medicine from the Saudi Medical Specialization Board. She is also a fellow of the Arab Board of Health Specialties in Community Medicine. Dr. Rasha, we are very pleased to have you with us today. And
Thank
also we've got Dr. Veronica Vazilkova, who is a PhD candidate and is currently working as a clinical specialist and physiotherapy in King Abdullah Specialized Hospital, Riyadh. Prior to joining the hospital, Veronica was working at multiple rehabilitation clinics across Slovakia. And as a physiotherapist, she attends many courses to build up her knowledge, and she has earned her first doctorate in pediatric physiotherapy in Brejo University, where she has studied master's and bachelor's. Dr. Veron- sorry, Dr. Veronica, very welcome you with us today.
Thank you very much.
So, ladies, we are very eager to start the conversation around the unique and very timely role that women play today within the science field. Starting with Dr. Hafsa, from your experience within the health and science field, tell us more about the unique role that you see for aspiring scientist females and also current female scientists today. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much for the very nice introduction, and thank you very much for having me here today. It is indeed an exciting, it's going to be exciting talk, knowing each other and, talking on this very important aspect. So just to make it short and getting back to your question, I feel that in my tenure over here, I've really seen the female autonomy growing in the kingdom, and I see that there is immense potential, whether it's undergraduate, which I'm teaching, or postgraduate, what I'm teaching. Immense potential in the females to become the leading scientists, and of course, we are witnessing several of my colleagues who have just returned. From their studies abroad, they are in fact already the leading scientists of the country. So, and as we know very well, that all those nations in all those countries that have developed globally, they could not have done it if they would have left the females behind. So, males and female collaboration in every walk of life, whether it's science, whether it's non-science, is essential for the development and progress of any country.
You've touched on a very important topic, which is the inclusion of the females within the science field. This has been a challenge for many women and females to enter into the science field in the first place. If you could walk us through the challenges that you've observed and your experience with that and the cultures around female entry into the science field.
Yeah, I don't know if I should be talking about openly about it. Is it okay if I talk openly about it? But nevertheless, I'll try my level best to not to hurt people's feelings. It has been a very challenging journey, I must say. It hasn't been easy. So if I would just walk back, I joined the Department of Family and Community Medicine at King Saud Medical City in way back in 2008. And at that time, the culture was such that women and males in the department, even, they were hesitant to sit together. We were like, we had a lot of constraints, we had a lot of limitations. But gradually, as we walked, and now, I mean, this is an amazing era, I must say. It's an amazing era where most of, but in fact many of the specialities, subspecialties where I work in the university are headed by females. So before, we had hindrances. We could not enter into the corridors. We were not allowed to go to certain areas of the university. But now, alhamdulillah, that's not so. And I think the major credit goes to the policymakers, because that is the driving force. And of course, the community cannot be neglected, because we are now accepting this change. And when we accept the change, then the change will happen. And this is a positive change. I mean, there is, as I said, immense potential in the female faculty and in the female students around where I work. And if that would have not been gone up to this level where it is, and even more ahead, it would be a waste of resources. Really, it would really be a waste of resources. So I'm very, very happy. Definitely, I mean, the only thing that kept me moving was my eagerness to contribute, and my eagerness to see that a change is possible and it will come. And this is what is happening now. 10 days down the road, I'm happy that I didn't give up at that time. I wasn't frustrated at that time. I wasn't allowed to drive the car. I wasn't allowed to, as I said, walk in certain areas of the university. But now it's a whole new world. It's a whole new, environment, and it's the time to enjoy
We
and the
are very
time to.
grateful. We are very grateful to see the tides turning and to see more females and more women entering into the science field with more ease. So, Dr. Veronica, the same question goes out to you from your set of experiences and lived reality. Tell us more about the unique role that you see for females and women within the science field today.
Thank you very much for having me, and I'm very glad to be here today to speaking to you and to everyone who participated in this event. Um, for me, I really agree with everything what my colleague said. For me, especially, it was completely different world. I'm living now in Saudi for 7 years, and I came from Europe when everything is open. Yes, we can talk together. We are sharing our information. There is no separation between males and females. So for me, it was very shocking at the beginning, but when I start to work in the kingdom. But within these 7 years, really not only the science, but even the work in the hospital and sharing our knowledge between our colleagues, between males and females during the meetings, during the presentation, conferences, it's really amazing. Especially while I'm teaching even our students, our interns, it's really good to see them coming together and learning more and asking. They're really open even to get more knowledge about the other cultures, especially from the Europe, about the new technique. They're really willing to learn, and that's amazing.
It is really amazing to see the differences in cultures and also the exponential growth to include more women. Dr. Rasha, given your experience and also building on our fellow panelists, what is the unique role that you, from your perspective and your position and your standing in life, that you see for females and women in the science field?
Guys, so thank you so much for the nice and kind introduction. Uh, you know, to me, it was kind of a little different. Yeah, I'm primarily from Sudan, and Sudan is a multicultural country where we do see cultures as conservative as it used to be here in some places, and we do see like open cultures in other places. So I'm the kind of the person who really enjoyed dealing with different cultures along the way. So the first time when I came to the kingdom, and by the way, that was way earlier, and that was in the University of Ha'il, where when coming here, I was like kind of afraid, coming to, though I was raised out in Qatar, which is a Gulf country as well, and seeing my background in Sudan, which is kind of multicultural. The only like big difference was niqab. But as I just said, I'm an open person. I like to try different things with cultures. So my days in Ha'il were really very nice. I liked it very much, though Ha'il as regarded as conservative community to some extent. And I enjoyed discussions with my students. Yes, we did have separate campuses for males and females, but they were really open. We could get them in at occasions, even through like video conferences. And I think the limitation of resources helped us in that way. I generally believe that the woman role in science is really important because women are natural leaders. And we are seeing this more and more nowadays in the kingdom. Me, especially now, working at Princess Noor University, where it is an organization that really foster and focus on empowering female. I enjoy this because along the way, I felt like this is one of the things that carries my passion, you see? So I feel in the right place, having an organization which really works to develop female, where females' voices are really heard of, respected, and at the same time observing the cultural changes all over around. I do embrace it all. Like, there are good sides, even with the conservative side that we were experiencing, and nowadays as well. So let me tell you, and like, congratulate you. I feel females in Saudi Arabia are doing a great job, really.
Wow, thank you. This is an amazing thing to hear. Females in Saudi Arabia are literally the catalyst of change at the moment, and they are leading the change, which is something you've mentioned, is that it's always the female that is leading the change. And for you, as the wonderful female scientist that you are, we are very eager to get to know, because we've seen your story and your history. You've all been through different cultures within the science field, which is the beauty of the science field. It's so inclusive and it is so diverse and it's so multicultural. So within that, we are very interested, Dr. Hafsa, if you can tell us about how you, as a female leader, navigated the cultural transition and how you facilitated the way for science through cultural dialogue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for bringing this up. I think, and I feel that this is a very important aspect that we can debate for hours and hours. And I think there is a lot of things to learn by the local females from us who have been working over here and who have we have come from a background which was so different from the Saudi background. So I'll go back a little bit into history, and then I'll come into when I stepped into the kingdom. So basically, I'm from Pakistan, and my primary and my secondary education was done in UK, and then we moved back to Pakistan, and then my studies were my MBBS and onwards. I finished over there. I am a daughter of a dean of an engineering university. So in my house, we were only talking about education and higher education, right? So our objectives that my father and my mother used to set for us, we were three sisters, it was, you have to be at the top. There was no limitation. The sky was the limit. So first of all, we were, tuned into that we cannot just stop at any level. We have to go in the field of science. And we only had two options, by the way. We had either medicine or we had either engineering. So there was no third option for us. So science was in our bread and butter, and it was as a meal on the table. And on top of that, we had only one male in the family, right? So my father he gave the full trust and confidence to us. And I think that is the way how we were brought up. So we didn't have any male members around us to protect us. And we had to do so many things independently, which the males in our society could not even do. So number one, that was the training that we got in-house. Then our society was, there was no limit to having females in science, engineering, in medical school, in banking, education. So there was no limitation in our country. Now, when I came over here, I was told, oh, engineering females can't do. Teaching females can get into. So even at the university, in those days, the engineering seats were not open for the females, right? And even the law, I had my neighbor, and she was a lawyer. She had her training from abroad, and she came back from Canada, and she was just stuck at that moment. She's a Saudi. And it was miserable to see her, and hear her stories. And I'm talking about 6-7 years ago. And then suddenly I got to know, oh, she was allowed to now practice. So she's now practicing. So initially she was just teaching. She said, I'm only allowed to teach. But then came a phase where she started to practice. Now that was something very surprising. And that gave me confidence as well. So we had institutes around myself. My husband is a physician as well. We had institutes where there were women working in every discipline: administration, internal medicine, psychiatry, every field. But we had my institute, which was a little bit, thinking in the older ways, and it was still that no, females can't do this, females can't do this. But as I said, determination, and then leadership change. When the leadership changed in my department and in my college and in the university, then things really started to change. So we were given more autonomy, we were given more privilege, we were in the interview panels, we were there in the selecting panels. So in that way, we saw and we noticed that the female candidates who were applying for undergraduate or postgraduate, they were far better in many terms as compared to the male counterparts. I mean, I wouldn't say it in a bad way. It's a positive way, because I think it gave them that ability to show their positivity, to show what they had inside, and it's still there right now. I mean, initially about 3 years ago, the female faculty were not allowed to teach the male students. But I'm heading a course right now, and it was I must say I take pride in that. I'm heading an undergraduate course in the college and in the university right now, and we made this shift. I said, okay, I only have my female faculty. You want them to teach the males, take it. You don't want them, then what can we do? We can't teach because we don't have any males in the discipline, unfortunately. So we did it, and now we are teaching the male students, and we are doing it in a very decent fashion. All my faculty, I'm very proud to say, all my female faculty are doing it in an extraordinary fashion, in a very decent fashion, and with all the protocols in place. And the boys, the feedback is so positive. They are so happy. They are very happy. So I mean, this is something to acknowledge, and this is something to celebrate. Initially, of course, we were all scared of the environment. We are going to teach boys. How is it going to be? Postgraduate students, male students, elderly, married males. But no, it went perfectly fine. One faculty did it, the second, the third, the fourth, and that's it. So I think this is something to congratulate and be happy. And it's something that the people who are coming should take as a role model. And I think if we can do it, everybody can do it in the kingdom. All the females can do it in the kingdom. And we are doing research, we're doing teaching, we're doing supervision of students. We are even taking them out in the communities to do community-based research. So we're doing everything. So within the domains of our culture, within the limitations.
This is definitely something to celebrate. It is so heartwarming to see females overcoming these challenges, and not overcoming them and just staying there, but also flourishing within them. To see that this shift was made between male and female faculty. This is not the first story of its kind. Many females have done it in many different fields, and we still do, which is definitely something to celebrate, our courage and our ambition and our dreams. Dr. Veronica, as we've followed your story, you've been through the cultural transition from the Czech Republic to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which I'm sure was a big transition from Europe to the MENA region. We would love for you to walk us through that journey and the cultural levels that you've had to learn how to connect.
Yeah, thank you. It was really very difficult at the beginning because I didn't know what to expect. Yes, I had the friends who were telling me how it is going, so I was somehow prepared. But
Hola, tú eres Verónica.
yes, but I can be more grateful and thankful for all my colleagues in my department. They are really very supporting even till now. If I have any problem or whatever, I know I can ask them, and they are going to help me to really connect in the good way. For me, the connection in the culture, it shouldn't be a problem. It should be for us as an advantage. So we can share, we can learn from each other, we can share our stories. For me, the biggest thing what I was really surprised with when I came to Saudi and I was talking to my colleagues or to other friends and people I start to know, was what is really completely different, for example, to my culture. In my country, in Slovakia, when I was young, I was the one who chose which field I will learn, which university I will go into, and what I wanna study and what I wanna be when I will grow up. Yeah, in Saudi, many of the even females, the families, they will tell them, they will advise them what to do, what to study, where to go. And as well, I'm very thankful for all my opportunities in Saudi at my work. And I'm sure that some of my colleagues, they are here, and I'm very proud of every female in my department because they are showing and doing the great work, and I'm really very proud of them.
That is so lovely to see. And I think, Dr. Veronica, is that you came at a perfect time where Vision 2030 was launching, and you've witnessed firsthand and real experience just the empowerment that happened to all women, not just in the science field. And women really have stepped up to the challenge. And for them, I wouldn't even call it a challenge. For them, it was a deserving position to be in. Dr. Rasha, you've told us about the multicultural dimensions within Sudan, but we've also like to dive deeper into that. What did that mean in terms of the science field within Sudan and outside of Sudan, and how you lived in those different cultures and what those different cultures contributed to you on a personal level?
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, having multicultures and getting to experience different cultures is really a very nice thing to help us growing better versions of us in developing our personalities. So this typically helped me in being able to appreciate different cultures, dealing easily with different people. Um, that's why maybe I do not really have hard times of transitions with different cultures. And I'm primarily, I do belong to same background as Dr. Hafsa just was describing, and I was like smiling because I noticed while you were introducing her that we are actually belonging to same specialty. And now I realize that we do have kind of the same background because, like, my family was scientific family as well. My father was the dean of faculty of medicine, so she was like so similar. So that and in living in an area where people really praise education, this really helped me a lot. I traveled a lot within different areas in Sudan for work purposes and for like some activist work. And I was really enjoying the different backgrounds and dealing with people from those maybe you do not know that in Sudan we do have different religions, different cultures, different languages as well. So the main language which majority of people speaks is Arabic. Like I myself only speak Arabic, but we do have people who are really very lucky to have other dialects and other languages, not only dialects. So, and being a community physician, this really poses a very important like drive in my career, because it's part of our job to deal with how we would prevent diseases at various communities, how we can help the transition between different cultures, and even helping these cultures to deal positively with the health messages and with the development that we would like them to go through. So this really helped me a lot. During my study there, I was lucky as well to get my master's degree in Malaysia. So I spent few years as well there, and then returned back to complete my specialty in Sudan, in the Sudan Medical Specialization Board. So when I came here to Saudi Arabia, having that background about the Gulf way of living, being raised up during part of my childhood in Qatar. So it was easy for me to go along. I enjoyed having lots of discussions with my students. What I notice is that they are, like very curious. They do have a very good intent for development at that very young age. They are trying to explore every opportunity that they did have. And I do remember very well that it was around like 2012, I remember 12 or 13, when I had this discussion with with 3 female students in Ha'il who were talking about the cultural transition and how can they like bear that much role in transitioning the Saudi community into better future. So they do appreciate every privilege they do have and they would like to change it. I continue to have these discussions here in Noura, and I appreciate that students are so open. They do appreciate other cultures. They deal properly with every chance they have to develop themselves. We were honored in Noura having the research center, which provides, because our college does not really have a male section. We do have male tutors, male teachers, but we do not have male students. So we interact with the male teachers, with the clinicians who teach with the students, and with the males working in the health center.
So you've started with a really great set of variables in your life. You already had those cultures as a foundation, and that really helped you and advanced you within the science field, which actually gives us an insight into the power of science. We know that art transcends cultures and um, like some kinds of different forms of communications, public relations, they transcend culture. But what we also see is that science not only transcends culture, but it also connects it together. And from your unique experience and your unique knowledge and your practices, how did you see science connecting cultures with each other? If you can give us stories, examples, beginning with you, Dr. Hafsa.
Okay, so how did I see? I think maybe the privilege that I had, I was coming from a different background with a different experience, and my nature of job and speciality warranted me to share those stories and experiences with my students. Initially it wasn't, initial years, I recall, it wasn't a very it wasn't taken very positively, and I got that slogan. I used to get it, so what, I mean, this is not how we do it in Saudi Arabia, and I had certain of my students say that. But now I've noticed that they are interested to hear these stories, and they're interested to know about different cultures. They're interested to know about my work in Indonesia, in Australia. And whenever I stand up and I talk about that research or that paper that has been published in certain journal, I see, students paying attention. Before, it really didn't happen. One fact could be, and what I realize is, because even the Saudi community, many of them have returned from abroad, and they're bringing their stories as well. So those who haven't had that external exposure, I think they want to learn and they want to build up, and they're keen to understand what's happening outside, because they haven't, one fact, they haven't been outside, and the other fact is that the environment wants them to know that what is happening in UK, say for example, what's happening in US, for example. How are people dealing with obesity? How are people dealing with diabetes? How are people dealing with uncontrolled diabetes and hypertension? I think that is the reason, especially in my specialty, in my field, that is the reason why there is intercultural stories, and exchange is now acceptable. Before it wasn't really. I had great hesitance, but now when I talk about it, when I want to, and the other thing what I felt is, and I'm happy about it, change is acceptable now. So whenever I propose something, or whenever I propose a change, it's not just taken and put on the table. No, it's looked at. People look at it. People think over it. People reflect over it, and then they give me a logical answer. And that innovation is basically depending upon my experience, my previous work, my level of my knowledge, my training. All that is reflected to what suggestions I'm giving for the students, for the postgraduate, for the undergraduate. It's all there, and it's not at all now rejected. No, it's taken into consideration, and I'm happy about that. And I think this is adding on to the cultural exchange. This is telling us that yes, positive changes are happening.
This is almost like a cultural awakening that we are experiencing in this generation worldwide, of just realizing that connecting is always more valuable than disconnecting, and reaching out is always more profitable than not reaching out. So, Dr. Veronica, I'm really interested on how you saw the role of science in connecting cultures, especially the European and the Saudi culture.
Yeah, I will have exactly the opposite view, because me as a Slovak physical therapist working in the Saudi, I'm getting so many questions here back home, even from my family, from my colleagues, or even now at the university, how it is. How it is to be as a healthcare professional, how it is as a scientist in Saudi Arabia. And a few days ago, I had an interview with the Czech channel as well regarding the work as a physical therapist back in Saudi. And I can see really a big change, how the people are changing and they are opening their mind more. They are willing to learn more about the other cultures as well. They can see that, for example, in our field, in the physical therapies, yes, there is no big difference in the treatment, but there is a different approach to the patient. Yeah, what I learned back in Saudi, that the the treating the patients, the dealing with the family, the communications with the other healthcare providers, as a physicians and colleagues, it's more open. We are sharing more our knowledge between each other. We are trying to find the best way. The biggest thing, what I'm always advising, even here back home, don't be afraid to learn something new, because it will give you the more opportunities. It will open your eyes. It will open your heart as well. Yeah, that's the one of the most important thing, to share our knowledge, to share our experience. And once more, again, I'm very grateful for my chance to work in Saudi and to see and to be part of the changes which are happening right now in the kingdom. Um, the biggest questions they're always asking is, how is the physical therapy back in Saudi? In Saudi, in the hospital, not only in my hospital, even in the private sector, they are trying to give the best to the patient. Yeah, the patients, they are getting everything. What is the difference, for example, in my country, in Slovakia or in Europe? For most of the things, the patients, they have to pay, they have to collect the money, they need to ask the social services and the other things. It's a little bit more harder. So that's why sometimes when I am consulting the patients back home and I'm advising, you need this and this, then I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, we need to find a way how you will get those things. Yes, so this is different, what I can see from my point of view.
This is very profound, Dr. Veronica. Connecting cultures, coding you. Connecting cultures not only opens up communication, but it opens up hearts, which is so true on so many levels. The fact that certain elements, just like how to interact with someone, was taken away as a practical thing to implement in another setting, in another culture, is so profound. And it does teach us the power of learning from cultures and experimenting them and really immersing oneself in them and seeing the value within those. Dr. Basha, I'm really interested on how you see the role of science in connecting cultures today.
Thank you. So, what I believe is that science actually unite people that work in science, regardless of their cultures, because inherently, these scientific people do speak the same language. They are more focused on doing science more than any other thing in life, for example. Yeah, they do have other, aspects, but they are really more concerned with this. They tend to be kind of more organized, more having shared values, these values of success and of like would like to search for opportunities to add to the information and to the knowledge. These common shared values and these common behaviors in the field of science itself do, I would say, break to some extent the issues of the cultural boundaries between various cultures. And what is good here in Saudi Arabia is that in different science organizations, whether these are like research centers, academic institutes, there are people who are working from different cultural backgrounds. This actually makes the cultural dialect part of everyday's meeting because we all speak science language with like the scene, the flavor of our own culture. So we tend to learn from each other this kind of, informal lessons. So we get more used to different cultures. We get more like the positive thing of every culture. And I think this gives a good opportunity to our students because, uh, for in other countries, people tend to study with their professors who are mostly locals, right? And they get this foreigners experience, expatriates experience when they travel abroad. In reality here, most of the cases, students do have this chance even within schools, even within universities, even within research centers, within the hospitals, because multicultural is showed everywhere. And having such diverse teams, I would think as a good thing that helps everybody develop their career and their own path. But as of course, this have some constraints in a way that sometimes you really need to work on this for a while at the beginning when you're jumping into the new culture, unless you like in my case when you are that kind of trans culture. But in general, I think this is really very nice and appreciable for everybody. I do have such notes from some students that they do appreciate really learning from different cultures, because even in the lectures, we tend to discuss with them our background. So giving examples from different places where I've been to, where like just the example Dr. Hafsa said, where the different kind of projects shared, just reflecting on previous behaviors, this would really help people like close the bridges, being able to reach to each other. I think perfectly science is the best way to unite cultures, to not really unite in terms of being one culture, but it's, I would say, creating a joint, respectful culture.
This is very beautifully and articulately well said, Dr. Farsha, is that science unites cultures and science is a language of which we can all stand by and have solidarity on. This is very beautifully said, and I wish we could take a moment to really feel the meaning of that. What we've started this session with is we've held the concept of the effect bubble or the impact bubble. So we started with the science field and women and females, and then we went into the cultures. Now I would like to tighten the scope, and I would like to take a laser sharp look at each of your specialties. And if you can give us a brief description for our audience here on your specialty, what it means for the world, and what it means to you. Beginning with you, Dr. Hafsa.
Wow, I'm very happy to narrate that because I'm a big advocate of my specialty, and I take a big pride that I am representing the specialty in the kingdom. Um, just to make the audience aware that my specialty, which is called the preventive medicine and public health specialty, is a budding specialty in the kingdom. And as I was saying to one of my interns today, the consultants in the field of public health and preventive medicine, you can count on your fingers in the kingdom right now. And for me, it's a pride that I'm leading a very important program at the undergraduate, at the postgraduate level in my university. And under the umbrella of my specialty, many internship programs has been started. So I started the internship program. Currently, I'm leading the residency training program, which is a 4-year training program of preventive medicine and public health. Basically, what we do in it, we make the communities and we make the population aware of their health, how to take control of their health, and how to prevent disease before the risk factors even emerge. So this is in a nutshell the definition of my specialty. I mean, we are all going through the pandemic, and I mean, the worth of the specialty has been felt during this pandemic because we need to have healthier communities, we need to have healthier schools, we need to have healthier work environment, and this is all under the domain of my specialty. So the trainers from that emerge from my specialty, they will be the leaders of public health in the community. So in the communities of Saudi Arabia. So they, inshallah, one day we will be having healthy Saudis, healthy females, healthy males, healthy children in the community and the demand for hospital inpatient admission, advanced technological interventions will be reduced because the populations are aware of what is healthy and what is not healthy for them in terms of dietary intake, in terms of exercise, in terms of vaccination. So all this comes under my specialty. At the postgraduate level, it's a 4-year residency program, and there are master's and PhD programs also in the same discipline. And at the undergraduate, this is a whole 1-year course, which I teach at the Department of Family and Community Medicine at King Saud University. And in that, at the undergraduate, we also teach the students how to make this awareness, how to do health education, how to do screening, how to educate the masses, the communities, to take control of their health.
Thank you, Dr. Hafsa, for this really important and enlightening brief description. I am sure a lot of us are aware of the different fields within science, but specialties like this are ones that we really ought to be aware of. Dr. Veronica, if you can give us a brief description of your specialty.
Yeah, so I'm a physical therapist, and the difference in the culture, how I will say, in my country, back in Slovakia, the physical therapists, they are treating the pediatrics and the adults together. Like one therapist, he's focusing on all the ages from the newborns till the late age. What is great in Saudi Arabia, I'm specialized in the pediatric department, on the pediatric patient, especially when we opened the Cash Hospital back in 2015. I started the neurological clinic. So I'm focusing and specialized especially in the neuro cases, even from the genetic, from all the kinds of the neurology cases. This is one of the greatest opportunities for not only for me as a scientist, as a physical therapist, as a person, but as well for all my patients and their families. Because me as a physical therapist, especially as a pediatric physical therapist, I'm not treating only the child. I need to be able to connect with the family, with the caregivers, with everyone around them. Yeah. So as well, if there is any problem with the child, I need to be able to connect with the physician to solve any problems or anything for how to improve and how to engage the family and how to push the child to have a better life. Yeah, I have a patient from the really difficult cases to easier cases, but every patient is very important for me. Every patient is for me as a VIP patient. Yeah, so I love all my patients, and I hope like everyone can feel that not only at work but as well from the parents. Within those 7 years, I have many patients who are with me for a long time, like really even for 7 years. And I am like part of the rising them up. Like even some of the parents, they are telling me like I'm part of the family because I gave them the hope. I showed them what to do, how to engage with the child, to show them what the child is able to do. Even if the child is not able to walk, for example, there are other things what the child is able to do. Yeah, even with the hands, even at school, even in the learning, even if the child has any other disabilities, even from the psychological part or whatever, we are always, or I'm always trying to find the way how to engage the child in the family gatherings, even for school, even for the child to feel better, because this is one of the most important thing. If the child or any person, if they are healthy or even if they have any problem, they need to feel as a part of the family. They need to feel as a part of the culture. They need to feel as a part of something, yeah, where they belong. Yeah, this is one of the most important thing. I have many parents, yes, I'm seeing them, for example, now every 6 months or once per year, because the family, they really were able to learn how to treat the child, how to follow the program even back at home. I'm currently in Riyadh, but I have a patients from Jeddah, I have patients from Dammam, and they are not able to come so often. So I need to really find the best way how to teach them the exercise, how to teach them everything what they need to do with the child. And I have many parents, they are always coming with a smile, they are sending me the videos even through WhatsApp or whatever, to show me what the child is able to do, what they achieve. And this is, as I said at the beginning, it's opening the heart. And really, these things are the best highlights of my career as a physical therapist, but as well as a person, because it's very important to show them that yes, I'm the therapist, but I'm guiding the family as well, what they are able to do, and show them that they have the strength to keep together and raise the child. Yeah, the kids, I'm always saying the kids are our future, and we need to show them what is the best way, how to go, how to deal. And even me, yes, I'm there as a blondie girl who is teaching them how to use the hands, how to walk again. But as well, I want to be really the part of this family.
This is so heartwarming to hear. And I am sure if we have high school students who are in the audience, I am sure there will be applications to your specialty tonight.
I think so. Thank
Dr.
you very much. Even for me, when I was talking, it's like really some tears
Mashallah.
came to my eyes, because it's really, this is for me really, I choose the best
Yeah.
scientific topic, or even the work for me, which I'm really very grateful for.
This is really beautiful when humans, we believe in Salam that humans thrive the most and flourish the best when they really do something that they heavily believe in and they heavily are emotionally connected to. Dr. Rasha, we are really interested on also hearing a brief on your specialty.
Okay, thank you. So I typically define my career background as being a community physician and a medical educationist. community medicine is our name for preventive medicine. That's why I just said earlier that it looks like I do share with Dr. Hafsa the same background. So she talked very well, very nicely, and described this specialty in that regard. And so it is the name in Sudan, community medicine, and it is also the name in the Arab board, which is the other certificate of doctorate that I have. I would add other aspects, a little like she described well about the role of preventive and community medicine, which really primarily work to improve the health of people. And we try really to do that through set of, I would say, subspecialties, subsections of our specialty, which I would like to share with you as well, like epidemiology, which is really nowadays forms the basic tool which is implemented in various sciences, which includes a lot of very important basic information that scientists rely on and implement especially when doing research. We do focus and we do really take care of environmental health issues, occupational health issues, and how we can help people overcome these, and how we can help people be aware of the various occupational and environmental concerns around us, and how we can perfectly deal with the communities and the international community around us as well. Other parts are research methodology. So part of the work I'm doing actually now is that participating in and facilitating courses of research methodology. So helping generations of scientists really learn how to perform proper research and how to be able to contribute into the science itself more and more in a scientific and correct way. The other part of, I would say, of my career is being a medical educationist, and I really like teaching. I see teaching as some of the talents that I have. Even early on, when I was like a medical student, I was embraced by my teachers as having good presentation skills when I come into like trying to clarify information at seminars at that time. So when I went up into my specialty, I really decided to go more into this. That's why I went on and got a Master of Health Professions Education. I'm really interested in teaching. I like to teach all those subjects with epidemiology, talking about all the variants, demography, things like communicable diseases. I really like this, and I see this as part of my mission all around, whether here or back in my home country in Sudan. We work on to help students contribute to various sets of organization. And in my home country, this is really very important, where most of the health related work is not primarily done by the government, but rather by non-governmental organizations that work in collaboration with international agencies like the UNICEF or the other agencies. So working at the community level independently is really important, is changing our communities there. Another aspect which is getting my interest as well, which I did a fellowship in, is the leadership in the health sector, management and leadership in the health sector. And I have been training health professionals in Sudan at the level of state ministries and federal ministry of health in how to do proper management in a way that was designed by it was a project related to the Global Bank aiming at strengthening the health sector in developing countries. So I was honored being a part of this program, which really added to my experience. And as well, I think, inshallah, I could add to the experiences and training to the health professionals taking managerial roles at the Ministry of Health there in Sudan.
Wow, I can now physically feel the burning questions from the audience on all of your fields. So I will not resist. I will open the floor for questions from our audience. Please, if you have a question, just use the raising the hand icon on your bottom left or bottom right, I believe, and go ahead with your question. If you can't do that or can't locate it, just send it to the chat and I'll make sure to communicate it. Seems like we've got a shy audience for tonight. I'll give you 1 more minute. If not, we will move on.
I think, Lanud, you have an important message that's been sent in the chat that you might need to share with our panelists. This is very interesting, actually.
Yes, this is a message that we've got. I wanted to leave the best for the last. So we have an important message from Fatima Hamiduddin, and I believe one of you ladies does know that name. She says, "We are very appreciative for Dr. Veronica. With her sincere treatment to my daughter, she has changed her and our lives. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." Wow.
Yeah, I thank you very much. I hope you can you can see already that it's one of my patients, as I said, which is with me for a longer time, who's with me for a longer time, and really those patients are the one who are really very, very touching, and they will stay in my heart, I think, for a long time or forever, till I will remember.
Malak says, "The truth is, Dr. Russia has such a joyful and dynamic soul that help her to be a great communicator and teacher. Teaching in itself requires a strength of soul and a female and a woman that is both empowered and patient and resilient."
Yani, really, thank you. Really, thank you. I do not really deserve all these nice words, but I'm grateful that you could hear, like, I just told you minutes ago, I like teaching. So even with my colleagues, even with my class, I always like to take, like to volunteer for seminars, to volunteer for talks, I like interacting with various cultures. I like to get to know new people. I do appreciate actually meeting all of you today. So I like I feel blessed by having this chance to talk with you, Dr. Hafsa and Dr. Veronica. It's a learning opportunity for me. So thank you for that feedback.
So I feel that now we have created this beautiful, immense, and powerful female energy within this virtual session tonight. And we know that we, all of us, step on the shoulders of the many, many, many female scientists that came before us, whether they are mentioned in history books or not, whether we know their names or not, whether we know their contributions or not. We stand on their shoulders. So from where we stand today, 2021, right at this single second and this single moment in time, let us three, one by one, Dr. Veronica, then Dr. Rasha, then Dr. Hafsa, send a united message to females and girls worldwide aspiring to be scientists or not. Dr. Veronica, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I think the most important message for all the females is not to be afraid. We are strong, we are beautiful, we can really do many things, the all power. As they are saying, I will just go a little bit back. As they are saying, behind every successful man is female. So we need to be those females, and we need to really raise our hands. We need to raise our voices, and we need to show up and stand up straight, be strong. And really, I think with the sharing of our knowledge, our power, our love as well, we can do anything. So let's be strong and really let's raise our voice and stand up straight.
Dr. Rasha, your message?
Say to every female, trust your potential. Really embrace, the passion that you have, and always believe in yourself. I would advise them primarily to be themselves. Be yourself. Do not get distracted by, we talk it male and female game. It shouldn't be that way. Even when we talk about women empowerment, female empowerment, we do not really want like more biased treatment. No, we are not deserving for that. We talk about better, equitable chances so we can show our potential. So do not get deserved that you are in a war with a male partner, that you are in a competition, a continuous competition. Just like run around your passion, be yourself. And at that, and doing that, you can reach everything that you would like to. And you will be for sure at the first stage without really feeling that urge. Because, feeling that stress of being in a competition actually takes it off from our time, takes it off from our energy. We are losing time just for stress. We are losing time not being able to rest. So just be calm with yourself. Leave what you would like to do. Leave it. Love it. Do it with the whole of your soul. Just otherwise, you just described, and you will reach the sky, inshallah.
Wow, this is very beautiful, and I am sure a lot of girls and females will take this immediately to heart. Dr. Hafsa, your last message.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think Dr. Rasha has really said it beautifully, wrapped it up beautifully. And maybe I would be repeating some of her words, but my message goes out to the ladies, is the girls, is to believe in yourself. I think the only way and the only path to success is when you know that you can do it, then you will be able to do it. So have confidence in yourself, because you definitely have the ability to do it. And of course, there are so much avenues in the science field to explore and to make yourself prominent in. Go for it. New experiences, new avenues are the path to success. Once you're out of your comfort zone, then it is the only way where you make the change. And we are all here to make the change. And I'm sure that you are all here to make the change. And inshallah, you will be doing it in the future. So believing in yourselves, having confidence in yourselves, and at the same time, knowing what is important for you and till what extent you can go with the things. So prioritize your things. On the other hand, do not be shy, do not be overwhelmed with the factor that maybe somebody's telling you you can do it and you cannot do it. No, you can do it. You can do it. And if you have the will, there is no hindrance. There is nobody to stop your.
عفوا يا
And
بس معلم هذه.
as it is said it's a very common saying, where there is a will, there is a way. And I strongly believe in that. If you have a will, if you have the way, you have the will to do it, you're going to get the way, inshallah, one day, and you will be there at the top. You will be there, inshallah. All the best.
Ladies, we've had such an amazing session with all of you, and from here, let us manifest that more women not only enter the field of science, but all of the fields, and let us manifest that we reach a world where more women are empowered, more women are flourishing, and let us manifest that we be the leaders of that change and that empowerment. It was an absolute pleasure to be your moderator, and it's absolute pleasure for Salam to host you three ladies in our virtual Salam Stories. And we look forward to reconnecting in the future in our next International Women's Day for Science. And we thank you very much. I give the floor to Muad if he has any last things to say.
Thank you, my colleague Anud, for this great moderating for this session. And on behalf of Salam members, we would like to thank you, our panelists today, for what you give us today and share your experience in cultural communication or even in science. This is very important to us that we have this kind of platforms that bring people together and not divide them, and give them the floor to speak up for themselves and also share multiple experiences, a story, and a different aspect and different story. The last thing that we would like to say that Salam is your project, not ours. You're more than welcome to join us for anything within any idea that you think it might be valued and regarding cultural communication. We always use the term when people join us in our virtual events or even in our physical events later, inshallah, that we call them our Salam friends. And it's what bring all those people together from different backgrounds, different culture, and also from different mentality. So today I'm assuming that we are, or not assuming, but approving that you guys are with us as a Salam friends for the future, inshallah, for everything that we work on. So thank you so much. And I would like to thank for everyone who attended this session with us today. I will wrap up with this. So thank you so much. And we'll see you, inshallah, in our next event, in our next session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye from Riyadh.
Thank you very much for having me. Have a nice evening.
We really enjoyed having you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much, and it's really very nice. I would like just to say one word. When I went back to read about Salam project,
Yeah.
I really like this initiative. So well done again. It is very great. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Rasha.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you very much for initiating this talk. And the hosting was extraordinary. Thank you. I mean, it was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed the session. I thoroughly enjoyed being here. And all the best. It's an excellent initiative. Keep it up. All the best to you.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you all in the future. Bye.